On March the 28th, 2022, armed terrorists attacked a passenger train traveling from Abuja to Kaduna. During the attack, several were killed and many kidnapped. Earlier this week, the Nigeria police arrested the suspected mastermind of that tragedy. Tonight, Babajide Ogunsanya, founder of Leadership by Data and Channels Television's data analyst, is right here to share more insights on this story. Babajide, great to have you again on the news today.
Good evening, Ayotunde.
Yes, indeed. So the mastermind of that train attack on the Abuja-Kaduna highway, his name Abdullahi, that's Abdullahi Ibrahim Abdullahi. Well, he's finally been nabbed by the police. So, but before we look into that, let's talk about the passenger, confidence. Has it been restored, now that this development has come into light?
It depends on how we want to measure passenger confidence on our train service. Right now, there are no polls that strictly measures the confidence of passengers traveling on the various transportation networks. Perhaps the closest we can take a look at is to look at what was the frequency of travel prior to the attack, look at what happened in the quarter of the attack, and look at what has happened since. But one way to first of all understand this, and the number to keep in mind, is 13,000. That was the number of travelers, average number of travelers on our train service as at 2014.
13,000.
13,000. That was 2014. So that was the big number. And then the government was hoping that those numbers will get to 30,000 on an average daily and eventually to 50,000. But here are the numbers that we have currently from the National Railway Service and the National Bureau of Statistics. They make it clear that in the first quarter of 2022, which was the quarter when the train attack happened, March 28, average number of tickets sold per day, 10,590. Clearly, after the train attack in March and the train services were suspended, especially for Abuja-Kaduna, those numbers dropped in the second quarter. So we clearly see the reason why the numbers have moved from an average of 10,590 daily to an average of less than 5,000 tickets sold on a daily. And those were the same type of numbers we had in the second quarter of 2022 of that year, and in the fourth quarter of 2022, expected because of the festive season. It was getting close to Christmas, more people used the train service. Well, here are the shocking numbers for last year. The National Railway Service has made it clear that even though in 2014 we had an average of 13,000 tickets sold on a daily, last year, first quarter, less than 5,000 tickets sold on an average every day. Last year, second quarter, just a little over 5,000 tickets sold on an average every day. Q3, Q4, the numbers improved better, but significantly not close to where we were even a decade ago. So in summary, the good news is, and listen carefully to this, the good news is, yes, passengers are going on the train service. The train service is safer. The security agencies, especially the military, have been able to put in infrastructure, aerial surveillance to make sure passengers are more comfortable. But the bad news clearly is passengers still feel that in terms of the frequency of the train services, the reliability in terms of timing, the quality of onboard service, people are still a bit reluctant. And so, yes, we might no longer have so much of a security perception problem on the train service. What the National Railway Service needs now is a communication solution to allow Nigerians be more comfortable and understand what routes the rail services offer. We're in a situation where, Ayotunde, we have 100 million adults in the country. Yet, on an average daily, just about 7,000 tickets are being sold. In simple terms, for every 100,000 adults, only 7 people use the train every day. You heard that right. On an average, every day, for a country that has 100,000 adults,
100 million.
100 million, with the train service numbers that we see, the relative proportion is only 7 out of every 100,000 adults use the train service every day. So clearly, the train service is significantly under potential. Good news, confidence is improving. people are using the train service, but we are now back to where the numbers were even as at 2014.
Which brings me to my next question. Of course, the police have said that they were able to get the alleged mastermind of this train attack through the collaboration from other security agencies. But the question is, why do you think it took so long, to get the alleged mastermind of this attack?
And so this is really good news, and I think one of the things the police have done in cooperating with the military agencies is they made the alleged mastermind, Ibrahim Abdullahi, they made even Nigerians believe that they were looking for the man. But the reality is they were really not looking for him. And I'd like us to take a look at some of the key things that had happened after the train service, and I'll explain a bit more why the police really were not looking for the alleged mastermind and they were looking for something else. Yes, 28th of March, that event happened. But the biggest news was last year when the police confirmed the arrest of the suspect who supplies arms to the Abuja-Kaduna criminals. And so what the police really did was, rather than look for Abdullahi, they kept looking for the man who Abdullahi was looking for. In simple terms, they were really not after Abdullahi. They believed that if they caught the man or the gang that supplied Abdullahi weapons, then they will find Abdullahi. And so that news last year was the beginning of the end of Abdullahi. Once the police, in cooperation with other security agencies, had found the key man that supplied weapons to these Abuja-Kaduna criminals, then it was going to be easier for them to find Abdullahi. And so if you look at that timeline, about a year after the Abuja-Kaduna attack happened, they found the criminal that supplied weapons to the criminals, and then about a year after that, we've been able to find the man that's been alleged to have spearheaded these attacks. And so I think that was the right strategy to use. It made even Abdullahi believe the police were looking after him, but meanwhile, the evidence showed that the police did it was a ploy. Abdullahi was really not the man that they were after.
A very systematic approach indeed, even though it took quite a while, like you rightly pointed out. But let's look at the national perception now, of course, of transportation security, especially on that Abuja-Kaduna axis. What is it like now?
And so one way is we could take a look at the national perception of security nationally, because that gives us an idea of what is happening in Kaduna and the region where Kaduna is, which is the northwest. And to be fair, we also then have to look at what exactly is the perception of security across the other 5 regions. So if we take a look at what the national security perception from citizens when they were asked, is security improving? These are the results, comparing it to what had happened, the same questions posed in 2022 and 2023. The Northwest, and I would like us to take a bit of time understanding this, as of February 2022, 44% of families living in the Northwest believed security was improving. That declined a year after in February 2023 to 39%. But in the most recent survey, citizens in the Northwest say security has improved. So that's 46% compared to this time last year, 39% in February. In North Central, February 2023, it was 43%. In February 2024, 45%. In summary, families living in the North Central believe that security and the military and other security agencies are doing well. In the Northeast, things seem to be the same. 58% February last year, February this year, 58%. Same goes with the Southwest. The challenge we currently have is in the South-South, where last year the numbers looked good, 52%. The numbers are slightly down now to 49%. In the Southeast, families are giving a green mark to how they feel about security. So in all 6 regions, 3 are positive relative to last year, 2 neutral, the same, and 1 down. So it depends on how you want to look at it, but overall we see 3 in green, 2 the same, and 1 in red. But perhaps, and I have this here, I just wanted to quickly show why this is important. Recently, we've seen what Tunde Onokai has done in chess, and one of the things that strikes me is a statement that it couldn't achieve that alone. Yes, we have millions of talented Nigerians everywhere. Tunde had mentioned that he needed to do that. He could only achieve that because people cooperated with him. Davido came. Even the chess player that he was up with, he needed people. And one thing that strikes is, across all of Guinness Book's world records, there is no record of anyone, any man or woman, that has been able to lift this stone by just one finger. No record. No one in the world. None of the world's 8 billion people has a record of being able to lift this by yourself.
As far as modern history is concerned.
Not possible. For you to do this, you need cooperation. This is the only way you could do this. Two fingers. You need cooperation. And so if we look at what has happened on the Abuja-Kaduna, how the security agencies have been able to do it, it has been the people cooperating with security agencies. In summary, the outlook of Nigeria and the outlook of security is this: cooperation. No one, not the military, not the civil force, not the civil society, will be able to do this by themselves. We need to cooperate more. And so, just as the armed forces have said recently that if you see something, say something. Recently, we've seen even the leader of the chief of the military, the armed forces, talk about how important it is for Nigerians to cooperate with the military. Like I said, like Tunde Onokoya has said, the only way forward is to be together. The only way we can achieve more is for us to do more.
And we'll definitely leave it at that. Babajide,
I was hoping that we'll do more and we'll be able to cooperate more, but surely May, next month, we're already in May, and definitely we're going to be doing a lot more of this analysis when the president marks 1 year in office.
I will definitely keep tabs on that one. Thank you so much again, Babajide.
The pleasure is all mine, Ayotunde.